Welcome to the show tonight, guys. We got a ton of breaking news. Guys, planes are falling out of the sky. This is crazy. We've had another plane crash, this time in Philadelphia. We're going to bring you all the details upon that. Also, more details about the helicopter and other plane crash, guys, that it's very sad where things are at nowadays, but I'm glad that we got new leadership in place. We also have, guys, this is huge breaking news. Trump's team has officially fired every January 6th prosecutor, every FBI agent involved with January 6th, every CIA agent involved with January 6th, and every Secret Service leadership person involved with January 6th. They were covering up a scandal. He also has fired and banned all the 51 FBI officials that lied about the Hunter Biden laptop. And guess what just got created, guys? Literally, Mike Johnson to create a new January 6th committee, despite vowing to look forward, but they are creating a new January 6th committee. They want to investigate this big time. Trump says we have got to hold these people accountable. And Kash Patel, who we now know has secured enough votes to be the new FBI director, has been told to do a full-blown investigation into each of these persons to hold them before Congress for weaponizing against MAGA and against Donald Trump. Huge breaking news. Trump also has just made the announcement that everyone in the world literally is like just waiting. They're shocked. He said that we are absolutely going to tariff the European Union. He said there are going to be very substantial tariffs. Trump said we are tariffed 100% on a lot of goods coming from the United States to Europe, and he's tired of it. He said, I'm tired of countries taking advantage of us like we're a sucker. We are the United States, and we are the ones that control the world. Also, guys, this is... if there's any more accountability coming, guys, I just love it. The highest ranking Treasury official, think about this, over all the money, over signing all the checks, David A. Lebrick is resigning rather than complying with a request by the Doj team for access to audit, where they've spent trillions of American taxpayer dollars a year. Instead of complying with and working the audit, he said, I'm sorry, I'm just going to resign. I don't want to be a part of this. There's a cover up there too, guys. I'm telling you, we're about to see some real stuff go down. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching, guys. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can take care of you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help so much to grow the channel. Hey, we got fireworks. Thank you so much for all your support and being members of the channel. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. And also, thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. We're so grateful for your support and helping us to give back to charity. Already, Mr. Pug's mom, already with the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Mr. Pug's mom some love in the chat. Guys, huge breaking news today, guys. New January 6th committee is being made. We now have some breaking news over what's happening behind the scenes with Trump's team. They are moving. Check this out.
President Trump, action. Days of thunder. Here's what I like. Just when you think you've seen so much, there's more and more and more and more. And in all types of different verticals has been pretty extraordinary. Today on the economic side, I want to, these tariffs, this is monumental. Now, it may be a negotiating ploy. It may be a lot of things. What we know is that President Trump is trying to change the basic economic model of the country. What he's signaling to people is that we're going to return to become a manufacturing powerhouse. And we're going to do that two ways. Number one, we're going to offer you the opportunity to move your plant and your capital equipment here and hire American citizens. Make your products here, sell them here, and you won't face tariffs, right? There'll be no charge for getting through the golden door into the best market in the world. But if you don't do that, there's going to be substantial tariffs, and we are going to protect certain industries, right? Certain industries with these tariffs. That's why he's doing it across the board to one, not just external revenue, because, Philip Patrick and I disagree a little bit about this, but to build a manufacturing base. And manufacturing base means high value added jobs, high value added manufacturing jobs. And there's so much that comes off that. So it's pretty extraordinary. I want to also go to something I touched about. I couldn't get to Philip Patrick for the third part of this. So we talked about tariffs, talked about the BRICS. President Trump is very, very focused on the U.S. dollar. He's very focused on the dollar as the prime reserve
dodging
currency.
missiles and
he understands how it was abused by the elites in this country.
100%.
Why the BRICS, as we've talked and kind of trained y'all and thinking about this, the BRICS nations did it kind of combine together on this topic because the Biden administration, the Biden regime was, the inflation you had was destroying the purchasing power of the dollar. So the nations, particularly in the Middle East, in South Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, that have these resources, they're selling these resources, selling these commodities, whether it's oil, natural gas, rubber, tin, you pick it, and essentially having a 20% discount or 20% devaluation later. And they're just saying, hey, we can't do this. As I've said many times, they have just as many smart people from Harvard Business School using the HP 12C, the Hewlett-Packard 12C calculator that can do net present value and discounted cash flow. They have them. These are smart people. And they see a monetary system being abused by the sociopathic overlords of easy money on Wall Street. And President Trump and Scott Bessent have made a thing that they want to return the dollar. It's going to stay as a prime reserve currency, but they're going to defend it as prime reserve currency. We're not going to let the dollar be destroyed. In fact, I think they've read and taken to heart the end of the dollar empire, and they understand if we're going to do that, that's a massive national debate and a decision that goes and takes years. And maybe we have that debate, but for right now, we got what we got, and we're going to defend it. And President Trump put a shot across around the BRICS nations. We've talked so much about they're trying to, you've got India doing a deal with Saudi Arabia, and they're taking the 40-year output deal, and they're paying in rupee, and somebody's, they're covering the hedge and taking this currency risk. He's telling them right there, if you start a system away from the U.S. dollar, we'll essentially consider that an act of economic war. That's what he said, economic war. Boom, put it to it. And if you do that, you're going to get 100% tariff of getting anything to the United States, i.e. you're not going to be selling goods to the United States of America. Now, if you don't sell goods, that's fine. But he is defending America first. He's defending the nation that is the United States of America. He's defending the American citizen. He is defending the American worker of every race, color, creed, ethnicity. When did you see that? When was the last time you saw that? Of Democrat and Republican administrations. When's the last time you saw that? When? I'll tell you when. Never.
Guys, it is so huge where we are going and what's happening, guys. I wanted to show you. So right now, there's tariffs that are coming that are literally going to be hitting the BRICS countries. Trump reasserts towering 100% tariff threats against the BRICS countries. Thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, when Trump is going to release the unredacted files of John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, Luther King Jr., and Robert F. Kennedy. Guys, right now, he has signed the executive order for them to take the action to do it, but it's Congress that has to then take the next steps with Mike Johnson in certain leadership of certain committees in order to get this done. Thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. Y'all show Andy some love in the chat, everybody. And so with this, guys, I wanted to show you this because we just had this huge plane crash in Philadelphia. Things are happening, guys. This is very dangerous. This came out. So 2 planes reportedly aborted landings at DC airport in the past week due to helicopters. So we found out that something's going on with air traffic control. We found out that somebody's not doing their dang job. And right now, it looks very bad with the plane crash there in Philadelphia. but they are like, everything is very, very bad, guys. I can't show it on the channel just because it's too much. Like they'll take my video down. But what I wanted to show you guys is some more breaking news on what's happening with justice. Check this out. There is a new committee that is being formed, January 6th committee by Mike Johnson, to get the truth. Just want to say thank you so much, everybody, for your support. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, guys, please do so. It really helps the channel out so much. Check this out, guys, because we're going to get the truth. And I believe Kash Patel is going to be the guy who makes it happen. Check this out.
Ready? Don't ever forget Devin Nunes and Kash Patel. Devin Nunes and Kash Patel, if it wasn't for those two, you would know absolutely nothing about the collusion hoax. You wouldn't. They were the ones, those two guys. Others got on later. They were the two guys who cracked this thing open from the inside. And because of that, their lives were turned upside down. Kash knows what it's like. Kash also knows the dirty details behind January 6th. Ladies and gentlemen, I've told you 1,000 times, I wish things would have went down different, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything was great that day. No, that's not what happened. But there is zero question right now, zero, that what happened that day, the full story's never been told. Whether it's been the mobilization of the National Guard, federal involvement in that day, I know happened. And in addition, the identity of the pipe bomber, someone is hiding a deep, dark secret about what happened on January 6th. This is the real reason the left hates Kash Patel, by the way. Here he is addressing the National Guard and who was called and when was called. The left doesn't want this story out there because they want to look like, oh, we're clean of all this. We had nothing to do with anything. Oh, really? Check this out.
What were you doing on that day?
On that day specifically, responding to preparing to mobilize and deploy the National Guard once we got the lawful request from the local governing authority, which was the mayor of D.C. and the Speaker of the House.
Now, how many days in advance were you working to prepare the Department of Defense to help secure the Capitol on January 6th?
Days in advance, Senator, we were in the Oval Office on an unrelated national security matter with the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and myself. And the President authorized up to 20,000 plus National Guardsmen and women to secure any security measures necessary related to the Capitol. So we were moving to the fullest extent of the law before the requisite request came from a local governing authority days ahead of time.
And while you were Chief of Staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and in numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
Wow.
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the Sergeant at Arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House. Wasn't that Pelosi? Folks, they just don't want to tell you the whole story. Here, you want a really quick, simple, easy pro tip on how to never look like a liberal, foolish, hypocritical, piece of garbage, filthy, far-left communist Democrat? Just tell the truth. Yeah, man, January 6th went down this way. I got a lot of objections to a lot of things. I have a lot of objections to you lying to me, too. You're telling me Nancy Pelosi knew nothing about the security situation at all? Kash Patel is telling you on the record after being sworn in, there are memos documenting this. They're not telling you the full story because they don't want to. I don't care what, all I'm going to tell you is the damn truth. If you don't like the truth, the show's not for you. It's okay.
Dang.
Why do you want to be lied to all the time? This is the real reason they don't want Kash around. Here he is responding up on the Hill to these absolute BS Democrat attacks on this man's character. Kash is a good and decent guy. I've been around him quite a bit. Kash is one of those guys, I'm going to tell you right now, when you pick up the phone, he's like Pete Hegseth, Secretary Hegseth now. You call this guy up, if he doesn't get back to you, he'll call you immediately because he's in some kind of meeting or something, every single time. Here he is yesterday on these Democrat attacks against him. Check this out.
If the best attacks on me are going to be false accusations and grotesque mischaracterizations, the only thing this body is doing is defeating the credibility of the men and women at the FBI. I stood with them here in this country. In every theater of war we have, I was on the ground in service of this nation. And any accusations leveled against me that I would somehow put political bias before the Constitution are grotesquely unfair. And I will have you reminded that I have been endorsed by over 300,000 law enforcement officers to become the next director of the FBI. Let's ask them.
Mr. Chairman.
You know what's fascinating, too? If you're a piece of garbage, progressive, commie, leftist, what's the first thing you're doing right now if Kash Patel was a Democrat nominee? You guys know? What's the first thing you're doing? Oh, that's definitely racist. You're going after the brown guy? 100%. 100 freaking %. Why am I not doing that? Because it's not true. The Democrats are, many of them are racist, but that's not why they're going after Kash. They're going after Kash because of what I just told you. He's going to uncover the full January 6th story. He's going to stop the FBI weaponization of power, which the left loves.
Yes.
And that pisses him off. But I'm not a lying piece of garbage progressive commie. It's definitely racist. Kash, by the way, was targeted by a weaponized government. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget your history on this. Edutainment, right? Here we go, educational entertainment. Kash Patel and Devin Nunes were ruthlessly targeted. Phones taken, investigations, subpoenas, because they uncovered scumbag Adam Schiff's absolute fabrication of a Russian collusion fairy tale, which destroyed our country for 4 years and still is rippling through international politics. He was targeted himself. Can you think of a better guy to run the FBI than a guy who's been on the other end of federal government weaponized justice system prosecutions? Listen to this.
Senator, this may be one of the scenarios that most uniquely qualifies me to take command at the FBI. Having been the victim of government overreach and a weaponized system of justice and law enforcement, I know what it feels like to have the full weight of the United States government barreling down on you. And as the Biden Inspector General determined, those activities by the FBI and DOJ were wholly improper and not predicated upon law and facts. I will ensure, if confirmed, that no American is subjected to that kind of torment, to that kind of cost, financially and personally. And most importantly, I will make sure that no American is subjected to death threats like I was, and subjected to moving their residences like I was.
Wow.
Because of government overreach, because of leaks of information about my personal status. If confirmed as FBI director, Mr. Chairman, you have my commitment that no one in this country will feel that pain.
Guys, let me tell you this. We need Kash Patel right now. Trump just went through, guys, check this out. The 51 former intel officials who engaged in brazen election interference and lied about the Hunter Biden laptop have now been banned from entering federal buildings. And now we know that Trump wants Kash to work with the January 6th committee and investigate into all of these 51 former intel officials that lied about this, because it 100% affected the 2020 election, guys. We now know for certain that there was blatant disregard to the truth whenever it came to that. And check this out, guys. This is the truth coming out is exactly what we want.
All right, breaking right now, sources are telling the Associated Press that the Trump administration is preparing to fire FBI agents involved in past probes of the president. It comes one day after President Trump's pick to lead the FBI, Kash Patel, insisted that he will not seek retribution or politicize the agency if confirmed. Correspondent David Spunt is following this story here in Washington. David, what is the latest?
Well, Jackie, we reported yesterday that people at the top levels of the FBI have been given an ultimatum, either leave or be fired. The FBI is undergoing a transformation. Some see it as good, what President Trump promised. Others are worried, concerned. Many of these people, Jackie, who are told to leave are career officials who have pensions. Some were hoping to stay until retirement. They've been there for years. Now, the FBI declines to give out specific numbers or names or comment. Yesterday, the president's FBI director nominee, Mr. Kash Patel, you see him right there, had that confirmation hearing. He left without any major controversies, but he did hear strong words from both sides of the aisle while he was asked about his past comments. Watch.
Don't go over there and burn down that agency. You go over there and lift it up.
I'd shut down
Yes.
the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state.
Could he just answer the question if he said that the FBI headquarters, where they investigate cybercrime and terrorism, should be shut down and opened as a deep state?
Hey, Ms. Chair.
As a museum. Did he say that the headquarters should be shut down?
Hey guys, just want to say thank you so much for your support, guys. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, it really does help out so much. Want to give some love to Lay Lewis. Said, I absolutely love that President Trump is doing some major cleaning for our country. Let's go. Y'all show Lay some love in the chat.
Mr. Chair.
I deserve an answer to that question.
Patel said the criticisms were, quote, false and accusations and mischaracterizations.
Priority of the FBI, if I'm confirmed, will be to ensure that our communities are protected and safeguarded and our children have parks to play in and not needles to walk over.
He said the Bureau will not be politicized either toward Republicans or Democrats. No date yet set for a full Senate confirmation vote, but he's expected, Jackie, to make it through. But a lot of changes coming at the FBI.
Guys, let me tell you this. When Trump says you either resign or you're going to be fired, this is putting a new chapter in the amount of truth that's coming out. Check this out. I was telling you this earlier. President Trump, this is from Raw News Alert. It only happened a couple of hours ago. President Trump's Justice Department has just fired every January 6th federal prosecutor in the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm telling you, Trump is cleaning house of all the corruption, all the people that weaponized everything. And what I love is that he's not finished yet. Check this out.
First tariff war.
President Trump confirming he will be going forward with his long-awaited 25% tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and a 10% tariff on China.
Anything China, Canada, and Mexico can do tonight to forestall your implementation of tariffs tomorrow?
No.
Not a negotiating tool?
No, it's not. No, it's a pure economic. We have big deficits with, as you know, with all three of them. And in one case, they're sending massive amounts of fentanyl. Why should we be subsidizing Canada? It's wonderful. I have so many friends in Canada. It's a great place.
But Canada, the 51st governor, is vowing he will fight the tariffs.
If the president does choose to implement any tariffs against Canada, we're ready with a response. A purposeful, forceful, but reasonable, immediate response. It's not what we want, but if he moves forward, we will also act.
So, Jesse, are the sled dogs ready to defend Canada from the tariffs?
No. And they don't have to if they just become a state. We can drop the trade war right now. So Canada plays games with dairy. They invoke all these barriers. So our people that want to sell milk and cream and cheese into Canada, they can't do it because they're violating the spirit of the USMCA. They're also dumping all this cheap lumber into our country. They subsidize their timber industry and then come down and they undercut our timber industry here. Mexico's playing dirty with corn. They import all of their corn, and they import it from us. They love tortillas, tacos. It's in everything down there. And they say, we will not take your corn if it's, a GMO, genetically modified corn. And we're losing a lot of money. They're also sneaking in Chinese cars. The Chinese are brilliant. They're just sending parts into Mexico, and then they're just assembling in plants, and then it's made in Mexico, and then they can sell them here. That's got to stop.
So, Judge, this isn't just about the economics, which the president laid out. He also wants more cooperation on fentanyl and terrorists coming across the northern and southern borders.
To be honest with you, 25% tariff isn't enough for the harm that has been caused by Canada and Mexico by the open borders. And to be honest with you, the overrun borders and the crime and the fentanyl and the deaths, when it would be very easy for them to control the border. Unfortunately, you've got the cartels that are running the southern border. They're literally there's rifle cover for the cartels to be able to come across to the United States. And it is stunning that they are able to get away with this. And so now the cartels are now a foreign terrorist organization. We can affect their money. But we really have to get Mexico to pay up for what they've done. And Canada as well, for not protecting the border. And we are trying to protect it, but they are not doing anything. And the truth is that fentanyl is coming from China. It's being manufactured and imprinted in Mexico. The money laundering is going down there, and they're just pushing it into the United States. So, you know, the tariffs are more than just about tariffs. They're about our way of life and protecting Americans.
Yeah, and Greg, this is a president who believes in tariffs to get certain policies changed towards the U.S., but he also believes in eventually getting rid of the income tax for Americans and making the country richer through tariffs. So there are lots of strategies at play.
I love that strategy. I'm not sure if it's possible, but I did my homework. That's the thing about Trump. He forces you out of your comfort zone of ignorance. My default system being that, you know, as a libertarian Republican for free trade, I'm against tariffs, even though I really never read about it. It's just something that, like, I believed in because as a free market libertarian, tariffs are bad. Government, you know, don't mess with the prices. You know, you got to let the prices set themselves. But I understand how tariffs can be used as a tool at your disposal, especially when I go back to the A block. The realignment that Trump is doing with his prism of America first, suddenly tariffs are not off the table. They are but a tool to realign America as the priority. And it's no bluffs given. It's like, I may do this, I may not. Starting tomorrow, the 10% on China, that's going to be a tough one because we buy a lot of crap from China, and emphasis on crap. But, you know, if you have a problem with that, we've had over, it has been going down, the deaths from fentanyl, but it was over 100,000 people dying from fentanyl. No tariff is small enough to deal with that. You know, I mean, it's affected everybody's lives. It comes from Russia. I mean, China. We have to do something about that.
Guys, let me tell you this. Tell me, what do you think about this? Trump, in the first 10 days, guys, Trump has hit everybody in the entire world. China, Canada, Mexico, Greenland, European countries, the Panama Canal. And guess what? The president of the Panama Canal said, the Panama Canal is ours. We will not be negotiating with the United States over the Panama Canal. And this is what Trump had to say about it. Trump says, we are going to take back the Panama Canal. I think that Trump, because he's not running for re-election, because he knows that if he doesn't do this now, it might not ever get done, he's going full force to make his agenda happen. Let me know your thoughts. Check this out.
He's going to be meeting in Panama, where Panama's treated us very badly. They gave him, rather foolishly, a thing called the Panama Canal, the most expensive project we ever built, if you look at today's numbers. Most expensive ever built. We lost 38,000 men. In that case, all men, just about all men. 38,000 to the mosquito, to malaria and various other problems that you get from jungles. It was a tremendously costly event. We built the Panama Canal 110 years ago. Think of it, the most expensive development we ever did. And really one of the wonders of the world, one of the great wonders of the world. And we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama. And Panama's been ripping down all the China language signs. They've been working like mad to try, but about 70% of the signs were up and they were written in Chinese, and that's not the deal. So we're going to take it back. They've already offered to do many things, but we think it's appropriate that we take it back. They've totally violated the agreement. We have an agreement. They violated the agreement, and Marco Rubio's going over there to talk to the gentleman that's in charge.
Mr. Gabbard, do you still think it's a good idea for Jordan and Egypt to be taking in Palestinians when they reject the idea and the Palestinians who are living now in Egypt?
I think Jordan will take people from Gaza. And I think Egypt will take them also. I mean, I heard somebody said they're not going to, but I think they will. I feel confident they will.
Mr. President, will tomorrow's tariffs include oil? Will tomorrow's tariffs be inclusive of Canadian crude?
I'm probably going to reduce the tariff a little bit on that. We think we're going to bring it down to 10% on the oil. So it's 25% on the Canada side.
Mr. President, are these tariffs stacking on top of already existing tariffs? Or
Yes,
this will be the
on top of whatever may be existing.
Mr. President, ask you a question about Venezuela. Rick Cornell was seen on state TV shaking hands with President Maduro. Is there any concern that that might...
Just want to say, guys, we have almost 800 people watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, guys, it really does help out so much. Thank you for your support.
Legitimacy to the Maduro administration?
No, we want to do something with Venezuela. I've been a very big opponent of Venezuela and Maduro. They've treated us not so good, but they've treated, more importantly, the Venezuelan people very badly. We have a tremendous Venezuelan population. I got 92% of the vote, the Venezuelan vote. Now we want to see what we can do to get people back in their homeland safe and free and all. He's meeting with a lot of different people, but we are for the people of Venezuela. We're for the Venezuelan Americans. If you look at it, we have them all in Florida, right around the Doral area. That's really, they call it Little Venezuela, right? And they voted for me close to 100%. So we'll see what we can do to straighten out the situation in Venezuela. Venezuela has been very unfortunate. I was very surprised when I saw that Biden agreed to buy a lot of oil from Venezuela, because Venezuela was just about finished, the dictator. And when that happened, it brought him back to life. You know, Biden went out and they buy millions of barrels of oil. I say, what's that all about? So we're not going to let that stupid stuff happen. So we'll see what happens. We're not happy with Venezuela. We don't like the way they've treated the Venezuelans at all.
Mr. President, there have been some warnings or messages that government websites will be shut down this evening to scrub them of DEI content. Can you confirm if that's accurate?
Shut down?
Government websites, will be shut down this evening to scrub them of DEI content. Can you confirm whether that's accurate and if there are any concerns?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. DEI would have ruined our country, and now it's dead. I think DEI is dead, so if they want to scrub the website, that's okay with me. But I can't tell you. I guess probably certain people handle it certain ways. But I'll tell you who's very happy about it, the military. The real leaders, the real generals in the military, they're very happy about it. Doug is very happy about it. He's got a big group of people that are going to be working for him, really starting right now. He just got signed up. And they're very happy about it. He had a lot of DEI. Everybody did, but he has not been a fan. It was really hurting our country badly. It's costing a lot of money too. You see the kind of money we're talking about? Hundreds of millions of dollars for nonsense. Now we have our country back now. Our country is back, and it's a nice thing to say. I've never seen such love. I've never had anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. People are coming up, sir, thank you for bringing our country back. We were losing our country, and I think we're stronger now than we've been in many, many decades.
Sir, can you give an update on your call with Vladimir Putin?
Well, we'll be speaking. We'll be speaking, and I think we'll perhaps do something that'll be significant. We want to end that war. That war would have never started if I was president, and we want to end that war. That war is a horrible war. Millions of young people are being killed, mostly on the lines now, mostly soldiers. But the cities have been largely destroyed, many of them. They're like demolition sites. But the soldiers are just shooting at each other. You know, it's a very flat land. I said this the last time, very, very flat land. The only place that a bullet stops is when it hits a person. And they're hitting a lot of people. They're hitting a lot of soldiers, but on both sides. You know, I think Russia would probably say close to 800,000, and Ukraine 600,000 or 700,000. And it's just a senseless situation, and it's got to stop. So whatever I can do to stop it, and we are having discussions, yes.
Ongoing, President, already scheduled and ongoing?
Already talking, yes.
So you've already spoken to Vladimir Putin?
I don't want to say that, but we are having very serious discussions about.
You don't want to?
We are. Well, I just don't want to say that. we're having very serious discussions about that war, trying to get it ended.
With Russia?
With Russia, yeah.
At the Department of Justice and the FBI, there are a number of high-level people who are being asked to resign or are being told they are going to be fired. Did you specifically request any actions at the Bureau or DOJ with respect to those employees?
No, but we have some very bad people over there. It was weaponized at a level that nobody's ever seen before. They came after a lot of people, like me, but they came after a lot of people.
Dang.
No, I wasn't involved in it. I'll have to see what is exactly going on after this is finished. But if they fired some people over there, that's a good thing, because they were very bad. They were very corrupt people, very corrupt, and they hurt our country very badly with the weaponization. They used the Justice Department to go after their political opponent.
I'm telling you guys, we are cleaning house. I did want to show you guys this breaking news from this morning. I want to say thank you so much, Miss B, for the super chat. Let's go. And thank you so much, Judy Lynn, Loving Spirit, for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. If you got a free membership, show Judy Lynn some love in the chat. Thank you for growing the TrueLife News family. Guys, appreciate you so much. So Iran issues warning to the United States and Israel, threatening, guys, an all-out war if its nuclear facilities are attacked. Israel and the U.S. launched a military attack on Iranian nuclear facilities, would be one of the biggest historical mistakes in the U.S. could make. This is what they're saying about us, guys. I'm telling you, like, it's as crazy as it is to say, there's people that want to test Trump to see if he's really going to do what he's going to do. Now, we're already in a mess, but I believe that there's somebody who's going to test him, and I would like to see something happen so that everybody knows, guess what? Trump ain't playing around, guys. Check this out.
Are you pleased or satisfied with how this is being ran so far from the White House?
100%. I'm pleased, very happy with the speed and the urgency that President Trump has come back to office with. I mean, why would we be surprised? He told us what he was going to do. When he was inaugurated, 11 days ago, he laid out clearly what the plans were, and they have not wasted any opportunity to execute on behalf of the American people. This is the leadership the nation had been missing for 4 years. We're just glad to have him back so we can make this country not just safe, but great and prosperous once again.
Let's go.
He's also, I think, probably greatly inspired by Doj in trying to cut down this excess spending that we've seen at the federal level. He's called out certain organizations, NGOs, that appear to be getting a lot of funding that help facilitate some of this migration into the country. The president talked about it recently. Here's that.
If immigration officers, what we sometimes call Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, come to your workplace, they must have a valid search warrant or the consent of your employer to enter non-public areas. If you are asked where you were born or how you entered the United States, you may simply refuse to answer or remain silent. If you choose to remain silent, say so out loud.
So, Congressman, that is Catholic Charities, a video that's put out by the organization, and that's one of those NGOs that President Trump was looking into funding for, clearly offering their own ways and advice into how to deal with ICE officials potentially interacting with illegal migrants. Your thoughts on some of these charities and organizations that are assisting with illegal immigration in the country?
My thoughts are clear. If you're getting federal money, you're not allowed to use that to flout federal law or go against the national interest.
Yes.
One of the big problems that we have with illegal immigration are the NGOs. They operate on both sides of the southern border. They are providing aid and comfort, and that is their mission. But the problem is that it is against our laws to enter the country illegally. So our laws say one thing, but unfortunately in Washington for far too long, we have been funding these outside groups that are in opposition to the law. That needs to stop immediately. There's some stuff President Trump can do with halts and reviews of what these NGOs are doing, but that's gonna fall back on Congress to go back in there and be either prescriptive that the money that we give to NGOs or to stop giving them the money at all. My colleagues on Capitol Hill, we have a responsibility to get to the bottom of this. Can't keep funding organizations that are against the will of the American voter.
Do you have any thoughts on, obviously, for the president to get a lot of his agenda accomplished, he's going to need a full cabinet. He's not there yet. He's got some key positions filled, but he still has a way to go. Do you have any thoughts or concerns for the Senate right now, the confirmation hearings that are underway to lead the FBI, to lead the HHS, and others?
Well, look, I think all of the president's picks are going to get through. The Senate is doing what the Senate typically does. I would remind...
Just want to say, guys, thank you so much for your support. We're almost at 1,000 watchers, guys. If you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help to grow the channel. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Thank you so much for your support.
My Senate Republican colleagues that you overwhelmingly supported Joe Biden's nominees to be in his cabinet. They all stayed for 4 years, and they were atrocious at their jobs. Give Donald Trump the cabinet he has asked for. Let Donald Trump be the decider of whether they get to stay or go into the future. But on the House side of the Capitol, our big issue is making sure that we get budget reconciliation moving in the House. I've become a strong advocate of 2 bills. I think it's important that we give Tom Homan the money he needs immediately, along with some money for Pete Hegseth at the Department of Defense to move the Department of Defense back into the lethal fighting force it needs to be. And the third piece of that is we do need to move the debt ceiling and budget reconciliation. It makes no sense to give Chuck Schumer any leverage over Donald Trump or congressional Republicans. We need to move debt ceiling as Republicans in budget reconciliation. We can do that quick package I described relatively quickly, get that to the president's desk so the deportation force that does need to be stood up by Tom Homan has the resources it needs, and we can move expeditiously into tax policy, energy policy, any other items we have to get done. So the Senate's going to go through their process, and if they're going to get that done, I fully expect that President Trump's going to get his nominees. But in the House, we have to get moving on the congressional agenda so we can get to the desk of the president and we can do the job that we promised the American people we would do.
Guys, I'm telling you, that guy, Byron Donalds, he's going to make some stuff happen. I'm super happy about that, guys. What I'm super happy about, too, is that we are uncovering the truth on pretty much everything right now, guys. Everything that has happened over the past 4 years, Trump is saying, you know what? The American people need to know, even whenever it includes to the COVID origins. When it came to China, holding China accountable with the Wuhan lab. Listen to what this press secretary said, guys, because I'm telling you, this is like a Trump-esque pit bull.
I also would just like to point out that several years ago when I was working in this press shop and President Trump would take to this podium to brief the American people on COVID-19, he suggested that COVID very well may have came from a lab in Wuhan, China. And many members in this very room mocked him for that, said he was spewing conspiracy theories. He was not. We now know that to be the confirmable truth. It took many years for it to come out, but the president was right in this instance again.
Guys, you see that? I remember they called him xenophobic. They said that he was racist, whatnot. But guess what? If Trump says something, just think about it, guys. He's a billionaire. He's well connected. He probably knows something, and he's not just going to say anything. You don't get to that level of status and just make crazy statements. You say things because you know things. And that's what I love. What I also love, guys, is that Tulsi Gabbard is so close to being confirmed. Check this out.
What can you share with us?
You know, I'm fans of both. I think we need both of them. We need some people in charge of our intelligence agencies that will be disruptors. At the FBI, we need to make sure it's not politicized. Same thing at the other agencies as well. There's evidence that's been coming out for years of politicization, particularly going all the way back to the 2016 election when the FBI was used as a weapon against Donald Trump's campaign. So getting rid of politicization, getting rid of people who are acting in a partisan way absolutely needs to be done. I think Kash Patel will be a good person to do that at the FBI, and I think Tulsi Gabbard will be good to be in charge of all intelligence.
Let me play some tape for you on the Tulsi Gabbard thing. Please hang on a second.
President Trump's re-election is a clear mandate from the American people to break this cycle of failure, end the weaponization and politicization of the intelligence community. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States. Accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet. The fact is, what truly unsettles my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet.
You know, Senator Rand, I liked part of that. Now, we were taping things together, splicing things together. But I really didn't like her putting this puppet business, Trump, in the same category as Putin or Assad or Modi or whatever. I just didn't understand that, really. She's there to carry out Mr. Trump's policies, you know, in an independent way, and she has to be loyal to the Constitution, just like you or any of us who serve in the White House. But I was a little, I don't know, it raised my eyebrow.
I guess the reason she said it that way is she's talking about accusations. So some Democrats say she's going to be Trump's puppet. Some Republicans say that. But then some on the other side say she's going to be Putin's puppet. They all say that she's not a true and honest person. So I actually like the statement that she's faithful to her God, faithful to the Constitution, faithful to her oath of office. We need someone like that. Look, this is an enormous power. The power to spy on people, to listen to phone calls, to gather up information needs to be controlled with oversight by representatives, by the Constitution. And we need to make sure that the Constitution applies to all of us here in this country and that we aren't the victims of spying. Spying and surveillance, like the Foreign Intelligence Court, should be used on foreigners, not Americans. And it has been used in recent years on Americans. We need someone who is skeptical of power, like Tulsi Gabbard, to be in charge, frankly.
Well, I sure agree with that. Absolutely, 100%, Senator. The other thing, though, that I've never really swallowed is the Edward Snowden defense. I just never understood she wanted to pardon him. Snowden was a traitor. He let go of a lot of military and intelligence secrets. It's a sticking point. I can't swallow it down. What do you think?
Edward Snowden may be the greatest whistleblower in all of our history. He revealed that James Clapper had lied to the Senate when he said he wasn't collecting data on all Americans, when it turns out through a single order, what was revealed by Edward Snowden was a single order to Verizon to collect millions and millions of Americans' metadata and phone data, who they were calling and how long they were talking to these people. That was an invasion and violation of the Fourth Amendment. James Clapper, who was in charge of the intelligence, came to the Senate, told Ron Wyden, we're not doing this. He had to backpedal and say he misstated later on, but we never would have known this without Edward Snowden. Yeah. Now, does that mean I justify all of the leak and all of the information? No, I mean, we have to have secrets and there have to be rules. But at the same time, I think there's a great deal of civil disobedience in there. And whether or not there'd be some kind of punishment he could suffer here at home, I think he'd actually probably suffer that if he were allowed to come home. But some people said they want to kill him. Some people say they want to put him in jail forever. Some people say he's a traitor to his country. But I think he actually was faithful to the Constitution in exposing that his own government was lying about spying on Americans.
Guys, just want to say we have over 900 people watching. We're so close. Let's get to 1,000 likes, guys. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button. Also, too, I want to say this too. They came out with the Edward Snowden movie. I don't know how close it is to reality, but what I've read is that for the first time ever, you had the United States, because of 9/11, because of everything happening, they just said, forget it. We're going to go after everybody. We're going to surveil everybody. They started crossing lines and really crossing the privacy of Americans. And if it wasn't for Edward Snowden revealing that, guys, the NSA, they would know every single thing. They could literally hack the computer, your computer, without you knowing. They can literally use the cameras on your phones and your computers to surveil you, and you had no idea. That's how crazy it got when they started doing the overreach. Let me know your thoughts. And thank you so much, Ginger Lloyd, for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Ginger some love in the chat.
Well, you know, Senator, you almost had me until that last little line there, that he was faithful to his government. No, he wasn't. I think he was very anti-American. I mean, he's a citizen in Russia today, in Moscow. Look, I agree with you.
Because they will put him in jail or kill him if he comes home. He can't go anywhere. He's trapped.
Wow.
But he was faithful to the Constitution and to the Fourth Amendment. And he revealed that the U.S. government was spying on millions and millions of Americans without a warrant. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And Clapper was a liar. In fact, all those 51 together were liars, the former intel guys.
Absolutely.
You know, you and I can agree on that. But you'll never convince me about Snowden's being some kind of...
I'll keep working on you, Larry. I'm not done yet. I'll keep working on you.
He's not some angelic figure of saving America. I'm sorry. He let a lot of secrets go. Let's move on. All this business about Trump cutting spending, stopping funding of DEI and the Green New Deal and the misnamed Inflation Reduction Act. And Mr. Trump is determined to do this. He's not backing off. And he's also determined to shrink the federal workforce. Now, I think you and I probably agree with that. I mean, this is good stuff. The newspapers keep saying he won't. He rescinded this. The Washington Post usually in the lead. He's going to do it, Senator. You know he's going to do it, and I know he's going to do it.
He's all in. I'll do everything to support him on cutting spending. The biggest danger to our country, and this is somewhat of a fight between conservatives and libertarians, the biggest danger to our country is from within. It's the debt. It's not foreign invasion. We have to prepare ourselves and defend our country militarily, but that's not our real danger. Our real danger is from within, destroying the currency, destroying the country through debt. The debt is accumulating exponentially. The interest rate has started to turn exponential. We've got a real problem. All of the entitlement programs are broke. To put it in perspective, the entitlement programs suck up all of the revenue. The budget we vote on, which is military and non-military discretionary spending, that's a third of spending is all borrowed. If we zeroed out the budget that Congress votes on, you still don't balance a budget. This problem is bigger than most people can even fathom.
Well, I think you're right. Agree with all that. I don't know whether I'm a conservative or a libertarian. Maybe I'm a conservative libertarian. I could be a libertarian conservative. I'm not sure.
You could be a conservatarian.
A conservatarian. Yeah. Thank you, Rand Paul. I appreciate that very much. Let me ask you, have some fun with this whole story, okay? Just so our federal finances and our government doesn't go down in flames. How about, I haven't pushed this with my former boss or other associates in the government. How about selling some gold-backed U.S. Treasury bonds? How about doing that? What do you think of that, Senator Rand Paul?
You know, I think it's worth a discussion. You know, most of the big paper money advocates, the fiat currency, the Keynesians, have always said gold is worthless, but none of them have ever really decided to get rid of it. You know, a bunch of it sits in the IMF, some in the World Bank, some in the Federal Reserve, and backing it with a currency and marketing it, sure, I think it'd be a great idea.
Gold hit a new record high today, just saying. Gold made a new record high. You're coming on the program. I used to talk about this with your dad all the time, who was such a smart fella. So I just thought I'd ask that question. All right.
Guys, let me tell you this. It's there's a lot happening right now. I want to show you real quick, though, that where we move towards in the next couple of weeks, like, guys, trust me, I never imagined Trump moving this fast when it came to the tariffs, when it came to when it comes to just seizing the Panama Canal, the Greenland, all this stuff. And the thing about it is when you hear what Dan Bongino says, when you hear what all these people say, Steve Bannon, they say you have to move quick. Everybody says he's got 4 years as president, and he doesn't. They say he's really got 2, but then now they're saying he really got 1. So they're moving as fast as possible to make this come alive. And I wanted to show you this. U.S. President Trump says he is having very serious discussions with Russia to get the war ended in Ukraine. Remember, I showed you earlier that Putin said that within weeks, he believes that the war is going to be ended. So Trump is definitely doing his job, making things happen, guys. It is such an exciting time to be here in the United States, making things happen, guys. I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. Thank you to all of our subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can take care of you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button, guys. We're only 103 away from 1,000, guys. I would appreciate your support so much. We are here to serve you Monday through Friday with the top news. 2 shows a day, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. And there's just so much happening right now. The thing that's stealing the news is all about the plane crash and the information. And guys, I wish I could show you more about it, but it's just too iffy. Like, I literally had videos taken down, guys, because I showed the wildfires in California. They took my videos down. And so I'm just like, I can't risk it, guys, because this is like the money that I make from YouTube. It's for me and my family, so I got to be safe with that. But I do want to show you this, guys. The Elon Musk's Doge team is really taking effect. Elon Musk's Doge team locked some federal employees out of their computers. Officials affected by the move can still log on and access functions such as email, but can no longer see the massive data sets that cover every facet of the federal workforce from Reuters. So, guys, I'm telling you, if they're saving $1 billion a day, Doges now, then we can 100% know that they're making some big moves. I wanted to show you this if you haven't seen it yet. The national debt calculator. So this is, they've added literally a Doge clock to this. Guys, this is so cool. Check this out. They've added a Doge clock. So over here to the left, the national debt is $36.4 trillion. Doge clock, since Doge has been here, they've saved us almost $43 billion. So the goal is to get up to 4 to 5 billion per day, which will amount to about $1 trillion saved in a year. So guys, things are happening. We are literally seeing Trump's whole team making things happen. We love it, and we want to just continue to see more of it. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers. Thank you to all of our members. I want to give some shout outs to Mr. Pug's Mom, Andy, Lay Lewis, Miss B, Judy Lynn Loving Spirit, Ginger Lloyd, Adeline Star. Welcome to the family. Love you all, guys, for your support and your super chats. Y'all show them some love in the chat. I appreciate y'all so much from the bottom of my heart. Me and my family do. And I just want to say we're so grateful to do this for you every single day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.